We live in an era of visible abundance. On the surface, the latest smartphones, regular takeout lattes, and trendy clothes create a picture of success. Beneath this constant stream of consumption, however, millions live on a financial knife edge. Recent financial surveys show the severity of this position. More than half of Americans cannot access even $1,000 in liquid savings to cover a minor emergency, like a medical bill or an urgent car repair. Building wealth often feels inaccessible because of the myths surrounding high finance. You might assume it requires a massive trust fund, a viral tech startup, or direct connections to a chaotic Wall Street trading floor. Relying on a high salary alone offers no protection. If every dollar earned is immediately directed towards consumption, the result is the same. You remain broke. You are simply cycling money through your hands without retaining any of its power. Escaping that cycle begins with redirecting just $100 a month. This small, consistent decision creates the mathematical path out of the paycheck-to-paycheck trap. Finding that $100 usually involves identifying mundane leaks in the monthly budget. For many, it represents the cost of a few impulse purchases or the price of grabbing takeout coffee a couple of times a week. A strict audit of recurring charges often reveals forgotten expenses. Most people pay for streaming platforms, software subscriptions, and gym memberships they no longer use. You can also leverage customer inertia against your service providers. Companies count on you paying the same rates for years. A few hours spent negotiating insurance premiums and internet bills can free up the necessary cash for your wealth-building engine. Redirecting these funds from consumption into investment shifts your focus from temporary pleasure to permanent ownership. It turns your capital into a tool for future growth. Placing that $100 into a low-cost S&P 500 index fund turns static cash into a wealth-generating machine. During the first few years, however, the growth appears discouragingly flat. After 10 years of consistent monthly deposits, your total out-of-pocket contribution reaches $12,000. The total account value now sits at approximately $18,000. Your money has generated an additional $6,000 in market returns on its own. This 10-year mark is a dangerous psychological hurdle because human brains tend to think in straight lines. A $6,000 return often feels insufficient for a full decade of discipline. Quitting at this stage is a massive mistake. It abandons the process just as the mechanics of exponential growth are beginning to accelerate. Watch the results when we project that same $100 monthly habit over a 40-year career. The line stops creeping and begins to climb vertically. Over these 4 decades, your total personal contribution reaches a modest $48,000, but the final value of the portfolio skyrockets past $350,000. Over 85% of this final wealth came from the money compounding itself. This growth occurred independently of your physical labor or hours worked. This growth stems from compound interest, a force so powerful that Albert Einstein reportedly called it the eighth wonder of the world. While human labor has clear physical limits, the ability for money to earn for itself is virtually limitless when given sufficient time. Understanding the math is only half the battle. Maintaining this habit for 40 years requires resisting a culture that relentlessly pushes for instant gratification. Investment automation serves as your primary defense. By treating the wealth contribution like an unskippable utility bill that pays you first, you remove the constant temptation to spend the money. As the balance grows, you cross a threshold where the monthly market returns exceed your $100 deposit. At this point, your money is working harder than you are. This realization rewires your relationship with money. Instead of spending a raise or a tax refund on lifestyle upgrades, you find yourself channeling those funds back into the portfolio to speed up the growth. The initial $100 commitment serves to train the investor's psychology, prioritizing long-term financial independence over short-term consumption. You don't have to wait 40 years to see the utility of this wealth. Long before retirement, a growing portfolio begins buying you life options in the present day. Even at the 10-year mark, an $18,000 balance provides a buffer that most of your peers lack. This growing capital acts as a safety net, offering the peace of mind to handle unexpected bills or the flexibility to transition between jobs without financial panic. This $100 strategy functions as a scalable foundation. It builds the discipline necessary to increase your investments as your career income naturally grows over time. Time functions as the most powerful variable in this equation. Every month you delay starting represents a permanent loss in compounding power that can never be recovered. The mathematical window is constantly closing. Your financial future depends on the systems you build today. The decision to start has to happen now.